What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chin here again today from Nothing But Facts. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have been following the channel, watching the beautiful content that we've all been talking about, breaking down the top 25 teams. I've been talking about also the best running back rooms in the country, the best wide receiver rooms in the country, the best quarterback rooms in the country. This next video, I want to talk about a couple of different things here. I want to talk about some starters that have been named. I broke down the Keelan Russell video before, and also some guys from the Manning Award watch list. That's the award for, some of the best passers in the country. It's a great award list. And I think there are some names that I definitely missed breaking down some of my top quarterbacks. So we'll do that. But we'll start off right here. Tennessee names freshman, five-star freshman, Faizon Brandon as their starting quarterback for 2026. We broke down the Tennessee schedule not too long ago. I said, hey, their best case scenario, 7-5, 8-4, but all of that depends on who their quarterback is, whether it was going to be Faizon Brandon or whether it's going to be George McIntyre, whoever was going to win that job. They had to, win that job convincingly. And we have to understand that Josh Heupel has had success with every quarterback that he's had at Tennessee. We can go back to Hendon Hooker. We can look at Joe Milton. We can look at Nico Iamaleava. We can look even last year where Joey Aguilar wasn't the greatest year, but he's had a good track record with quarterbacks. And I think you have a really great talent in Faizon Brandon. This guy's a dual threat quarterback, a five-star recruit. He was highly recruited after. And when you look at how this schedule sets up for Tennessee, I mean, you look at those first three games of the season. We said that Georgia Tech game is going to be very interesting, right? Brent Key always has his guys ready to go. If their quarterback is Alberto Mendoza, whatever the case may be, that's going to be a really interesting game. But these first four games for Tennessee are incredibly interesting. You have Furman, you have Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, and then you have Texas at home. They could very well start out 3-0 and going 4-0 against Texas, and then you have a home game against Auburn. Again, a lot of this is going to depend on how this quarterback play pans out. We see this schedule. We already see four ranked teams on there. We see Texas. We see Alabama, Texas A&M, and LSU. We're not even talking about Auburn bringing Byron Brown over from Southern Florida, Alex Golish and his guys. We're not talking about South Carolina when they get hot in October sometimes. Wasn't the same thing last year, but this is a team that, is very sneaky, whether it's Lenore Sellers, whether it's Nick Harbaugh on the outside. And, of course, Dylan Stewart, his availability is a big question, too, as well. So this is an interesting schedule, but Faizon Brandon, named the starter for Tennessee. If you're a Tennessee fan, you should feel good because, hey, one thing we know about Josh Heupel, he knows how to coach quarterbacks. And moving on, another SEC team has named a starting quarterback, and that is Florida. They have named Georgia Tech transfer Aaron Philo. He is now the starting quarterback. He beat out Tramel Jones, and he's going to be the starter now for Florida, a Florida team in year one with John Summerall coming over from Tulane. He was a big-time coordinator. He was a coordinator with Kentucky, then ended up going to Tulane, taking them to the playoffs last year. But this is going to be an interesting team to watch in Florida. If you don't know, Florida hired Georgia Tech offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, who happened to coach Aaron Philo last year at Georgia Tech. So it makes sense. This is a team that has some talent, but when you look at this roster, Florida Atlantic, Campbell, Auburn, they can easily start the season 3-0. I mean, I know you're on the road at Auburn, but you can start the season 3-0 given that you have a back like Jaden Ball, who is one of, if not one of the best running backs in college football. We broke him down in our top running backs in the country. You have a guy like Jaden Ball who's outstanding. So I really like this move that Florida has made. Again, this is a pretty workable schedule. If you're asking me, like it looks crazy, but this is a team, again, year one with a new head coach. You can get 6 wins here. I see Florida Atlantic, Campbell, Auburn, South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Florida State. You can get to 6 wins on this schedule, 6 to 7 wins in year one with John Summerall. that is a win, in my opinion. I don't care what you're talking about with this schedule. Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Mizzou, and Ole Miss. I mean, 7-5 with this schedule. I'm not saying you're going to lose all those games because you do get Ole Miss at home. Hey, that's a win for John Summerall. That's a win for this Florida group. And you could definitely bank on that in the future moving forward, that this is going to be a very competitive group. So like I said, I wanted to talk about the Manning Award preseason watch list, recognizes top quarterbacks in the country after bowl games, whatever the case may be. And we broke down some of the best quarterbacks, I believe, in the country. I didn't do it in any particular order. I gave you some good names, gave you some honorable mentions, and I said, hey, if I would rank these guys in the top 10, that's who it would be. But there were three names that I definitely missed. And again, you can get this from online, the Manning preseason award list. One of them happened to be Hawaii quarterback Micah Alejado, and he was a true freshman last year. And that was a name I knew I was doing the video, and that was a name I definitely missed. When we talk about freshman quarterbacks, when we talk about guys who I believe who played well last year, it's definitely Micah Alejado. He was a really good quarterback for Hawaii last year. Again, I know people are going to look at me like, Hawaii, what are you talking about? Man, I watched Hawaii play. Micah Alejado could spin the football. I think he went to Bishop Gorman High School. Outstanding athlete. And they play UNLV. UNLV comes all the way to the West Coast in Honolulu. That's not going to be an easy game for UNLV. They play Memphis this Saturday. But Micah Alejado, that's a guy I think you definitely want to pay attention to. Go rewatch, you're seeing the highlights right here. Go rewatch that Cal versus Hawaii bowl game. You see this guy throw the football. He's a really talented thrower of the football, and I'm really excited to see him in 2026. Another quarterback on this list, that I missed was Devon Dampier. Devon Dampier was the starting quarterback for Utah last year. He came over from New Mexico, and everyone thought that, hey, he was going to transfer to Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. Not necessarily the case. He is now the starting quarterback going into year 2 with first-year head coach Morgan Scalley. This guy was, you talk about dual threat, 2,500 yards, just under 2,500 yards, 24 touchdowns. But you see the damage he did on the ground, 146 yards, 835 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He had a long run of 59 yards. This guy is very talented. And if you're thinking that Utah is not going to be one of them teams in the Big 12 that we talk about, you are often mistaken. This is a very talented group. They're always physical, always fun to watch. And again, this is a workable schedule. They get Arkansas at home. They get Houston at home. They get BYU at home. Like, this is a workable schedule. This is a team that, if all the cards fall in the right position, this is a team that will be, in that Big 12 hunt at the end of the year. I don't even know how I missed him. Y'all should have just slapped me with a hammer. But Drew Mestemaker is 100% a top 10 quarterback in college football. I don't care what you think, what you say. He led the country in passing yards, tied second in the country in passing touchdowns. This guy is a gamer. I love the way he plays. I love just everything about what he does. He was unreal last year. And Eric Morris is now the head coach at Oklahoma State. He brought a lot of those guys from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Their running back, Caleb Hawkins, that's a name you're going to hear in the Big 12. He's a very physical back. Definitely another name I left out in my top running back room. I can't believe I did that. But Drew Mestemaker, Caleb Hawkins, Eric Morris at Oklahoma State. This is going to be a really interesting group. Again, year 1 for a team that has a program, I'll say, that has just not been competitive. Oklahoma State with Mike Gundy, in the late 2010s, they were a competitive team. And obviously the era with NIL and the transfer portal, they were decimated. You bring in a guy like Eric Morris, who has won at North Texas. I'm excited for this group. I think this group is going to be really good. And again, this is a top 10 quarterback in college football. You see the numbers, you see the play, you see how he throws a football down the field. This guy is a PTP, a primetime player, and I'm excited to see how Eric Morris brings this guy into the Big 12. He's probably going to win. If there's a Big 12 Newcomer of the Year award, I think he's going to be in that conversation because he's that good. Man, you look at the Big 12 of quarterbacks. You're talking about Noah Fafita. You're talking about guys like Avery Johnson, who needs to step up this year at Kansas State. You're looking at a guy at Utah like a Devon Dampier. You're looking at BYU and Bear Bachmeier, Jaden Craig from TCU. You're also talking about guys at Texas Tech, whoever it's going to be, whether it's Will Hammond, and we're hearing questions about Tommy Castellanos, whatever the case may be. The Big 12 is not going to have any issues with the quarterback play. That's going to be a competitive team. That's going to be a competitive league at the quarterback position. I also forgot DJ Lagway. He's now the starter, presumably the starter at Baylor. So, I mean, the Big 12, you talk about quarterback play. I think this is going to be the best league in terms of quarterback play, possibly in the country. And I forgot Houston. Houston has one of the, honorable mention quarterbacks, one of the top quarterbacks in the Big 12, and Connor Wigman. So, man, you look at the Big 12, they got some quarterbacks, they got the horses in the race, and we'll see what happens. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing. Love you guys. God bless. Peace.